Hey guys, Worm the Potato Farmer here, and today we're going to talk about basically streamers hypocrisy, which is a wild concept, but I understand why people think this. And this was kind of brought forth by the trials meta I'm sorry, the trials SMG meta that's going on, because basically a lot of our, dare I say, casual players, even non-casual players, um from the people that play an hour a week to the people that play 7 hours a day. I think a lot of people are complaining about streamer hypocrisy. So specifically, what are they talking about? They are referring to the fact that streamers make videos on certain weapons, such as the Trials SMG this weekend, or I'm sorry, this previous weekend, and how good it is and how OP it is and God rolls and stuff to get like that. And then they make videos complaining about it, or they make content, they do streams and stuff like that, where they complain about it. But it does go back further, in terms of not so much hypocrisy, but people feeling that streamers are not, I guess, really good for the society of Destiny because of specifically Salt Greppo and the nerf that he is attributed to Divinity. So yeah, I just want to talk about that. First of all, in terms of streamer hypocrisy, understand that streamers and content creators, need to make content that's going to get people's attention. Okay. And what gets people's attention more than negative emotion, or feelings such as hypocrisy? There's not really anything. Okay, so streamers that make videos talking about how busted a weapon is and then complain, oh, it's not right that I'm getting killed by this so much, that is strictly to drive up their views. Okay, because people think, oh, like, you're an idiot, like you're hypocritical. You just talked about in a video like why the Immortal, for example, is so good and all this stuff, and now you're mad that other people are using it and getting it. Well, sorry to you, buddy, but like, that's all it is driving up their views. Okay, and now here on this channel, I don't currently partake in that. Like, I just kind of talk about thoughts and opinions on stuff like that. And this one was kind of nagging at me, because I know there's a lot of people that feel this way, and I understand where you're coming from, but at the same time, like I said, it's how you drive. Of streamers having too much power over the community, this is a big one that ties into what happened with Divinity. Lots of players were complaining that oh, it's not fair that these streamers, Salt Greppo particularly, and content creators, they say that something is too powerful and so Bungie nerfs it, but really it's not. But if we take a step back and look at it from a standpoint of what's best for the game, something like Divinity. Okay, Divinity was actually, in my opinion, was too powerful. Okay, it literally gave you one of the best debuffs in the game, as well as free precision damage, just for somebody using it. And while I understand that, like, that's its role, for example, Salt, in his opinion on the matter, was, I feel like it was warranted, and I think the nerf that ultimately came to Divinity was warranted. And the thing is, I don't think that streamers necessarily are trying to ignite negative emotion in the community. I know that so yes, there are many of them that do it for views. Obviously, like, that's one of the best ways you could potentially get views, is having a hot take, I guess. But I don't think that that is necessarily the reason why they all, not the only reason why they do it. I think another reason why they make videos like that is to bring Destiny to a point where it's like, hey, like, everything is balanced fairly where it should be. Look at Lord of Wolves, for example. Lord of Wolves, way back in the day, it was absolutely busted and broken. Same thing with the Immortal, but we're going to use Lord of Wolves because it's since been dealt with. But Lord of Wolves, tons of content creators and stuff made videos talking about, oh, like, use this, it's busted, it's broken. Same thing with Prometheus Lens way back in the day. But it's busted, it's broken, blah, 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 stuff like that. there's also the, the hopes that if they're making enough content about it, it will get Bungie's attention faster and get fixed faster, and this is something that I definitely think is a very good thing to have happen in the community, and something that content creators like myself are very good at. If we can bring attention to things that are broken, like the Immortal, for example, and I know everybody in here is probably thinking like, oh, like we love the Immortal, don't nerf it, or maybe I'm wrong, maybe everybody wants it to be nerfed, I don't really know. But if we continue to talk about how busted it is and show off numbers, and I don't show numbers on my channel, but I know there's several other YouTubers that show numbers. I know there was a video by somebody just the other day where they showed, Immortal usage numbers, and I did talk about it in a video yesterday. But they bring up these issues to have them potentially fixed, which I I want to help with that. Like, I want Destiny to be the healthiest game possible, and to be a healthy game, you have to acknowledge when certain things are OP, even if it benefits, even if it's something like Divinity where it benefits PvE players, and it's not really putting somebody, in a negative situation like it would be in PvP. But even when it's something like that, I think it's important that we have a balance, for example, what was it? The linear fusion rifle nerf. Okay, linear fusion rifles last season were way too hot. They were. Okay, and we never made a video about it, but I had talked to friends and clanmates and stuff about, linear fusions, and I had talked about how I think that they are completely busted. I don't think that other things need to be brought up in damage. I think that linear fusions need to be brought down in damage, as well as some things being brought up in damage, obviously. But primarily, linear fusions were dealing just excessive amounts of damage, and you could get some crazy perks, such as on Cataclysmic, 4 times a charms, bait and switch. Like, you're basically generating heavy ammo out of nowhere, and it's doing the most damage in the game. But that's one thing that, myself and many other players, both streamers and non-streamers do care about in this game is having a balanced ecosystem. And things like Divinity, things like, what is it? Starfire Protocol, which hasn't been nerfed, but I think it needs a nerf. Bringing those back into line is healthy for the game because it brings in other builds and stuff. It allows other builds to freely be used and stuff like that. Like, as a warlock, and or I shouldn't say as a warlock, but as a warlock who uses the Starfire Protocol build, would you ever dream of taking that build into something that is, not, or I'm sorry, would you ever think of bringing something that is not that Starfire Protocol warlock build? I'm sorry, my thoughts are all over the place. My cat's meowing at the door and stuff like that. But would you ever dream of bringing something besides the Starfire Protocol warlock build into in-game master or grandmaster level content? The answer is probably not. I'm sure that somebody out there, well, yeah, I'd do it, for fun. But like the majority of people, like, it makes logical sense, okay, to bring in the most powerful builds. I mean, look at Heart of Inmost Light Titans last season. Heart of Inmost Light Titans, that's all Titans wanted to play, especially before the Storm Grenade nerf. When Arc 3.0 first came out, you had the Storm Grenade build, which was insanely good. It was really fun and stuff like that, but it was, to a degree, busted, and it did not help the game, in any way. It just forced players to, it felt like, to use those. So it was nerfed, brought in line. And yeah, there's a lot of people that are just saying, oh, it was overdone, blah, 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 which Bungie has been known to overdo some nerfs. But this is not a video talking about overdoing nerfs and stuff. This is a video just talking about why nerfs are necessary and why I do think that, streamers and content creators are important to bring up, why nerfs are needed and in terms of health of the game and stuff like that. But yeah, I've kind of rambled on long enough about I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on streamer and content creator hypocrisy. Like, do you think that it is, ironic that, they make content praising the Immortal, just for an example, and then 3 days later say, oh, it needs a nerf because they're the ones that brought everybody's attention to it? I don't know. I think it's ironic, but that's just how it is, and chances are they're probably doing it just for views. But yeah, if this video resonated with you in any way, drop a like, and hey, come over and subscribe, man. We do terrible conversations like this all the time on this channel, and we love doing it. But yeah, also feel free tonight at what is it, 10, I think 10 Central, over on the Cosmodrome Radio YouTube channel. We're gonna be part of a podcast kind of talking about state of the game, stuff like that. Feel free to come check us out. But that is it for me, ladies and gentlemen, and I will catch y'all tomorrow on whatever terrible topic that we decide to talk about. But yeah, bye for now, guys.